Welcome everyone to a crash course for, general military groups. So, I'm going to be doing this based on the Army, but it's generally going to be the same for every single branch of the. This is U.S. military. Generally the same for every single branch. So when you join, in most branches, you're going to be an E1 or private. The name can change from branch to branch. I know in the Marines, you don't actually start as an E1, you start out as a recruit to get promoted to E1. That's fine. It's just, different, an extra rank. So what you're going to want to do is the first thing is you're going to spawn in, you're going to be your E1 or recruit, whatever it's called. And you're going to be in the base. Obviously, hopefully you join the group. So you're going to be in your base in this little box, somewhat of a box. And there you're going to see trainers, and those are TRADOC or TechCom, whatever they're called, training and education, training and doctrine command. Their sole job is to take the people who just joined the group, put them through a roughly hour-long training, and then they spit out fresh E2s, or in the case of the Marines, E1s, privates. They spit them out, and now they can go join a command and rank up and stuff. So the way you get from the first rank to the second rank is by doing the basic training. In the Army, it's called basic combat training. In the Air Force, I believe it's basic military training. And in the Marines, recruit training. I don't know about the Navy. It's something like that. Okay, now that you're an E1, you're actually in the military. You're probably going to want to rank up. So now, you can either, if from the start you just want to skip the recruit training, you can just buy your way through it. Don't recommend doing this because really recommend going through that basic training because you will learn a lot there. They will teach you everything you're going to need to know for your entire career. So if you skip it, you're skipping out on basically a class. It's like skipping a class that you're going to need to know. You're going to regret it. Okay, so once you've done that, you should be the second rank. And if you go to a group, you'll notice that most people are that first rank because they join the group and they don't do the training. And that's kind of, upsetting. Anyways, so now I have to go over the divisional command structure. So underneath the Army, they have a couple big commands that you're going to need to know of. There's most of them have military police corps. Most of them have some sort of TRADOC command, training and doctrine command. And then in the Army, there's forces command and special operations. I don't think the Marine has a forces. They might. I don't think they only have special ops. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to join one of these commands or one of these regiments so you can, rank up. Because how you rank up is based on activity. It's not just, getting credits or points or XP. None of that matters. I don't even think some groups may have an XP system where, you can show how active you've been. But just because you have 10,000 XP doesn't mean you're getting promoted at all. Okay, so I'm going to go over so let's start out with military police corps. So when you're in game as your E1, you're walking around, you're going to see tryout announcements popping up on your screen every now and then. If you want to join military police, you won't see a tryout for military police coming up. Instead, what you're going to see is a tryout for Criminal Investigation Division, Military Security Unit, Fort Protection Unit, or the Special Reaction Team. One of those four. Some might not have all four. Some might have more different ones. I don't know the exact number. I'm just going off a group that I'm looking at right now. So you're going to see a tryout for one of those four. Special Reaction Team, Fort Protection, Military Security, or Criminal Investigation. And what you're going to do is you're going to try out for that division. So you're going to pass your tryout, and then they're going to tell you to join the Military Police Corps and your divisional group. Because each division, think of it as, I'm going off some guard terms because I know many people have been in guards. Think of it as, Special Reaction Team, that's Red Guard, and then Fort Protection Unit, that's Coruscant Guard. They each have their own command structures with their commanding officers, but then they're overseen by military police corps, because military police only has 5 HICOM that are just in military police, who oversee the 4 divisions. It's kind of like overseers. Think of military police as the overseer for the 4 divisions. So you join your division, you can slowly rank up, rise through the ranks. In divisions and command servers, there's, as well as the main server, there is an open positions channel where applications are posted for some ranks. Like, let's say you're in military police corps and they need a regiment executive officer, or like SRT needs a new commanding officer. Instead of promoting someone, they might promote someone that they know is really going to do the job well. If they don't really know who to promote, they're going to put out an application for it. So you fill out the application, and then whoever has the best application will get the position. Does this mean that an E1 can get all the way up to 06? Yes. It's very unlikely, but it is a possibility if their application's good and they have prior experience in other groups. You can't just join, fill out an app, and then all the way go up to a general grade officer. They're gonna ask for prior experience. Okay, so that's military police. I don't think I need to go into the duties, but I just will real quick. Special reaction team, they kind of just hunt down hostiles. Fort protection unit, they guard the base. Military security guards high ranks. By high ranks, I mean headquarters. And then criminal investigation is kind of like a mini version of JAG, which is the judges. So it's kind of like a mini court. Okay, now on to Training and Doctrine Command, or Training and Education Command, whatever it's called in your specific branch. For Training and Doctrine Command, you are going to see an actual Training and Doctrine Command tryout. You're not going to see a Section 1 or a Section 2, or maybe even a Section 3 tryout. You're not going to see those. What you're going to see is a Training and Doctrine Command. I think it's Drill Sergeant Academy. That's what the official name is, I believe. So you're going to do that. You're going to do their tryout. I'm not going into details on the tryout. Some groups have them classified, some groups don't. Just know that there are jacks, faces, grammar, everything that you basically learned in your BCT, RT, BMT, whatever it's called, whatever you learned there. It's basically they're taking from what you learned from your first training. So if you skip that training, you're going to have no clue what to do, and it's going to hurt you in the long term. So when you join, you're going to be a junior drill sergeant, or whatever form of junior drill sergeant they have in your specific branch. Now you're going to have to do, a little quota, and once you do it, you're going to have to get some supervision, some co-hosts, and for your recruit trainings or BMTs, you have to actually, that's where you can get some experience, doing some of the trainings. Now you're going to be a junior drill sergeant. Once you do that quota, you're now a drill sergeant. You can do those trainings whenever you want. You're just going to be active, and once the HICOM see that you're pretty active, they're going to promote you to senior drill sergeant. And now senior drill sergeants, they help out the junior drill sergeants with their co-hosting and supervising all that stuff. Now when you are a drill sergeant, you might see an application go out that says recruiting sergeant. You have to be a drill sergeant or higher to apply. Recruiting sergeants, they're the people who actually do the drill sergeant academies to get new junior drill sergeants in. So if you want to be hosting tryouts instead of PCTs, then go ahead, become a recruiting sergeant, where there's a recruit head sergeant, drill sergeant leader, and then so recruiting sergeants, drill sergeants, the recruiting sergeants are Section 2, and then the drill sergeants are Section 1. Each section does have a sergeant major, a assistant section commander, and a section commander. Those are kind of, they just exist to help run their section. You get those via applications from either the USAR Discord or the TradeOc Discord. By USAR, I mean whatever branch you're in. And then TradeOc has its HICOM system. Most commands, like from what I'm about to say, the Deputy Chief of Staff higher, they run TradeOc. They're not in each section. Those sections, kind of think of them as divisions, kind of like an MP. and then the High Com kind of, runs all of TRADOC. So TRADOC is special. They get 5 High Com members. Most commands only have 3 High Com members, but here they have 5. They have a Deputy Chief of Staff, a Command Sergeant Major, a Chief of Staff, a Deputy Commanding General, and a Commanding General. With the Commanding General being the highest ranking member there and running the thing. Also in the group there should be a headquarters rank for the whatever group it is. And then there should be the Joint Chiefs of Staff ranks, if there is a Joint Chiefs of Staff in your specific group. And that's pretty much TRADOC. So now we're going to be moving on to the next one, which is the Army Forces Command. We'll skip that. We'll go to ASOC, Army Special Operations Command. Most people consider ASOC to be the best command, the most elite command, and I can tell you that in some cases it is the most elite command that you can get into via tryout. There's one more called INSCOM, which I'll get into later, but INSCOM is not through a tryout. So with ASOC and FORSCOM, Army Forces and Army Special Operations. These are where you see many divisions inside of them. Instead of having 2 sections like TRADOC or like MP only having 4 divisions, ASOC has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the specific group that I'm looking at, but there are plenty more that could possibly be added. Not just 5. This group only has 5, but they could add more if they so wanted to. Same goes for Army Forces. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 in Army Forces Command. So that is a whole lot of stuff. Now back to ASOC. So ASOC and FORSCOM kind of are the same. They go hand in hand. One's just more elite than the other. You would do a tryout for whatever division you would want to join. I'm not going to go into each division name because it's going to be different. If I was to list them, I would be listing the Army ones, like Psychological Operations, Delta Force. Yeah. If you want more in depth on that, leave a comment down below what branch you would want me to do an in-depth video on. So inside the main group, there should be a rank for each different division. I'll get into the division structure soon, but then ASOC has a Deputy Chief of Staff, Command Sergeant Major, Deputy Commanding General, and a Commanding General, which is 5. FORSCOM has a little different name. They have a Service Component Command, Chief of Staff, Command Sergeant Major, Deputy Commanding General, and Commanding General. But something about FORSCOM that I want to bring up is they have this thing called a corps. A corps is basically a grouping of 4 different divisions, and it has its little. Each corps has its own little high com of 2 people, a corps commanding general and a corps sergeant major that run that corps. Those 4 divisions, those 2 people kind of oversee them. So that's 4 different. That's 4 groups for people, 2 corps. So now the High Com only has to talk to those 2 people to get information. Those 4 people, sorry, to get information about their divisions and how they're running. Okay. Now to just quickly break down INSCOM. INSCOM, can't go into much detail, just know that they are like top secret spies, like Republic Intelligence. I can't even find the group right now, because it's not allied with anything. It's really secretive. I'll just put it that way. It's a super secretive one. Okay, now for the divisional structure. This is what you're gonna be most you should be most familiar with what I'm about to say, this divisional structure. So each division is further broken down into around 3, maybe 4 different battalions, brigades, or regiments, whatever name they are going to be using. Here I'm just looking at Psychological Operations, and they have 3 different battalions. When you join your division, you're going to be at awaiting placement, and the only way to get out of awaiting placement is to do a regiment tryout or battalion tryout, whatever it's called, by the instructor corps of said division. From there, you could either do that tryout or you could do an application to become an instructor and join the instructor corps. I'm going to go over the battalions right now. So battalions, everyone's kind of there. It's kind of like Shadow Guard or Red Guard. Everyone's there, and then they have each battalion has a sergeant major, a executive officer, and a commanding officer that run each battalion to help running that specific battalion, regiment, whatever it's called. From there, and then there's the instructor corps. Instructor corps you get through application, and instructor corps host the tryouts for this division. They also host the trainings for the division, and they host the regiment tryouts for the division. So if you just want to be there to be in the combat and stuff, join a battalion. If you want to be there to host and grow your division, join instructor corps. Now, the instructor corps does have its own sergeant major. It has its own executive officer, which is called the deputy director of instructor corps, and then they have the director of instructor corps that run instructor corps as a whole. And then the entire division has its own sergeant major, its own executive officer, and its own commanding officer that can report to the corps if there is a corps, or just straight up to the command level. And I believe that's pretty much the crash course, but I do need to go over generally how you would rank up. So each rank in your division that I just went over, like the sergeant majors or the regiment executive officers, they have a specific rank that's tied to them. So regiment executive officers are 05s. When they get promoted to regiment executive officer, they will have to go through officer candidate school in order to become that officer. An officer, and then they will be immediately ranked to 05 for regiment executive officer. The rank of general, very prestigious rank. It's only given to very few people, including headquarters. Most of headquarters, not directors of staff, they get 09 lieutenant general. The commanding general of ForceCom and commanding general of TRADOC, they get general. When they pass OCS, once they're given the rank, they are given the rank of general, so that they can do their things. If you're ranked sergeant major, you are going to have to go through sergeant major school. If your group has that, I know some groups don't bother with sergeant major school, so you will just be ranked E9A for that. And when I talk about division sergeant majors, they get E9B, command sergeant major. I know some places it's like gunnery sergeant or something. So titles can be a little different. E9B. And then E9C is reserved for the sergeant major of the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, whatever. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I get through enlisted ranks? Well, once you pass through recruit training, going to events hosted by headquarters, there's a chance that, they will promote you up a bit. Only going as far as E7. Once you're E7, you have to E8A. You have to be E8A can be promoted to, actually, and then but farther than that, E9B is a reserved rank for regiment first sergeants, if regiment first sergeants exist in that group. Some groups do regiment first sergeants, some do regiment sergeant majors. Okay, this has been 20 freaking minutes of me talking. Okay. Quickly gonna go over JAG. One last thing. Judge Advocate General Corps. You have to be. It's only applications to get in. But once you're in, that's basically the judges who handle. Does someone get fired? Do they get demoted? They hold court cases. Instead of the owner of the group just saying you're fired, it will go through JAG first, and JAG will hold a trial to see, do they get fired or do they get to only go through a slight demotion? Okay, that's been enough of me talking. I hope that this helps you guys out, and I will see you guys later.